Okay, so it is 4 o'clock and I'm going to officially call this meeting to order. Lauren is unable to make it. Um, so so I'm gonna take over. Um, and I believe we should go through attendance. All right. So I'm gonna call your name and just say here. All right. Lauren, not here. Ali,
Here.
Thomas, three. Okay. Nicholas Paleri,
Here.
Uma. I don't see Uma. Paige McKibben.
Here.
Josh can't make it. Sophie.
Here.
Nivea. All right. Ellie. Dana Faber.
Here.
Nicholas Wachowski. Tegan Sparhawk.
Here.
Madeline. Charlotte.
Here.
Paige Arkansas.
Here.
Matthew Connolly.
Here.
Juliana Spalding.
Here.
And Megan DeCourcy.
Here.
Okay. I believe that we can welcome a new member, Marie.
Yeah.
Hi, Marie. Hello. Would you want to introduce yourself? Maybe say your grade, something about you.
Hi, I'm Marie. I'm in 7th grade and I like cats.
Me too. It's nice to meet you. Okay. So,
And Yana, Thomas did jump on after his name was called.
okay. All right.
Well, we're so excited to have you, Marie, especially you're going to be our representative for 7th grade, because we don't have any of the other 7th graders on there. So
That's great.
exciting.
Yes, very exciting. All right. So next on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone from the public that would like to say something? If so, please raise your hand or feel free to unmute. I don't see anyone, so I think if not, I think we can move on to the approval of minutes, which is next. The meeting minutes are still in progress, so we will approve those in a later date. That's okay. And we have to, last meeting, we decided to take turns as clerk election. Would anyone like to volunteer to do this meeting's minutes?
We need someone, we, at the last meeting, just as a reminder, we said that we would all rotate and someone would take it each time. So Madeline's gonna finish up the meeting minutes from last. What's great is it's recorded, and it's transcript. So you can just go and watch it and do it at your own time. So it'd be great if someone would be willing to, in the minutes, we can send you examples. That's what we did with Madeline, examples of minutes from last year. So they don't have to be word for word. It's just kind of summaries. So maybe a couple pages.
Would anyone feel comfortable in doing so?
I already did one, so I can do it again.
I just saw Paige jump in. I know, Nick, you wore your hat already. We're gonna rotate it. So.
I don't mind, but
Thank you, Nick. We appreciate it. But Paige, would you like to do the minutes this time?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. If you have any questions, just let us know. Okay. All right. So next on the agenda is the Wakefield Youth Council Community Cleanup, which I would say was a huge success. I'm really happy of how it turned out. I believe that we collected, yeah, we had like over 130 youth participants. Is that right? That's amazing, which is great. And we also collected over 293.5 lids of trash, or not over, sorry, exactly, which is also great, which also means that we do have to figure out a way to raise that money, which came to, I think, $1,467.50. So would those be our next steps?
Yeah, so how do you all want to proceed with that? Because that's the money that we pledged. We said we'd raise that amount of money to fund the Vietnam veterans roll to Washington, D.C. So do we want to resume the cleanup subcommittee to talk about that? Does anyone have any ideas?
Bella?
I know, forgive me, Mr. Chimes, if I'm speaking for you, but I remember at the like at the end of the cleanup, he mentioned something about like he can ask some people around. I don't know if you want to take it from here, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I was going to say I'm happy to ask the other members of the council to contribute as well. If there's kind of a gap that you guys are trying to fill, I don't think that would discount any other fundraising that you're doing and that you want to do, but not to volunteer my colleagues, but I think that they'd be happy to contribute as well.
Yeah, that's extremely generous, and I feel like the town council members donate so much of their time and energy, and but that is nice to I think you're having you all share whatever social media we put together would kind of help a lot with all the followers that you all have. So I think any other thoughts?
I can't think of any at the moment, but I definitely will brainstorm that.
Okay, so why don't we set up a separate we take this cleanup subcommittee because we already have members of that committee. So that consists of Tegan and Paige and Bella and Nick W and Madeline. Was there anyone else on the cleanup subcommittee or anyone that wants to join it? Okay, so we can work with that team to kind of create our messaging around how to reach that fundraising goal. And I did speak to the veterans agent, and he was so excited to be able to tell his committee and share the news. So first of all, they were just so excited so many youth came out. I think the fundraising is a secondary excitement, but they just really appreciated the support on Veterans Day. And we had these amazing signs that I'm going to deliver that all the youth signed at the different locations. So we'll make sure those get delivered over to the Veterans Services Office.
Yeah, that was an amazing event, and I'm so proud of us, honestly. We did great.
I have a question. Would anyone be willing to do a write-up for the newspaper? I mean, Lauren put a lot of the major information in there for what we would need, and we have some pictures. So is there anyone that would like to write something for the newspaper?
I can do it. I
Our
can volunteer for it.
communications chair, that you would be perfect. So why don't you work with Lauren to get the text, the specifics and the pictures, and then send it over to me and I'll submit it to the paper.
Okay. I can do that.
Thank you so much, Ollie, for,
You're welcome.
and it's very fitting, the communications chair put
Thank
put
you,
that
Alex.
together.
You're welcome.
Ali, I was also going to say, if you want any quotes for it, feel free to reach out to me. Or actually, Representative Lipper Garabedian was at the Vets Field as well, and I'm happy to put you in touch with her if you want to throw something in from her.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
to participate.
Yes, yes. And I also know Representative Donald Wong was at the upper lower common as well.
Great.
Great, and then, yeah, if we can have quotes from them, and then any youth that participated or any youth council members that helped organize it, that would be great. Did anyone have any friends come and say anything about it?
My friends end up coming, so they enjoyed it. They thought it was so fun, and also like just a nice like bonding experience is to like grab some friends and do something for the community. They were happy to do so.
That's great. What do people think about repeating this event next year?
I think that's a great idea. It was such a huge success. Like, I feel like we can continue doing this, and it'd be a great like tradition almost.
Great. Okay, so what we can do is the subcommittee will take the next steps on the fundraising. So subcommittee members, stay tuned on that.
All right. Thanks again for for everyone's help and all the support we got through the community. It was amazing. Does anyone else have any more comments to talk, or should we move on to the next thing on the agenda? If not, I believe that Kevin, I believe that you have the youth risk behavior survey
I did.
presentation. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not going to do the whole survey, because that, if anyone saw me do it at school committee, I know Jenna and Ollie might have seen some of that. It takes it took almost 45 minutes. So I'm just going to highlight a few pandemic related things.
Sounds good.
So sorry, I'm just pulling it up.
No worries, take your time.
Oh, hold on just a second. Okay, so everyone can see that, and you can kind of move the people. So like this, the Youth Risk Behavior Survey is a survey that's done every 2 years, and it's done for students in 7th grade through 12th grade. So some of you might have remembered, if you go to the Wakefield Public Schools, taking the survey last April, and it's done every 2 years. It's a national survey that's done in schools throughout America, and we have a separate evaluator who looks at our data and puts it together for us. And it's expensive, so it's funded by Leahy Health and Winchester Hospital. So the survey instrument itself measures something what we call risk and protective factors. So risk behaviors, meaning alcohol and drug use, unintentional injuries like self-harm, mental health, suicidal ideation, unhealthy dietary behaviors, sexual behavior, bullying and violence, screen time, things like that. And then protective behaviors like trusted relationships, having a trusted adult at school, academics, whether you participate in school activities, so things like that. So that is the survey instrument. And this is the big one. This is the one we get from students all the time. I know in the 8th grade health classes, they were just, in 7th grade health classes, they were just doing this activity. But they say, do students tell the truth in it? And yes, they do. And there are several ways they can develop the tool to make sure students are telling the truth. And one of the biggest things we've done, and we've even added these questions, is saying, did you tell the truth on this survey? And students say yes. And then when they say, do you think your peers told the truth on the survey? What do you think people say? No, I told the truth, but I don't think my peers told the truth. But in actuality, most people do tell the truth, and we can tell when people, the evaluators can tell when people aren't telling the truth, and they take out some of those survey answers. They even put things like a fake drug in there. So someone says if they use, it used to be called Durbasol or something, then they're going to take out their survey results because they know that student's not telling the truth. So data collection, they did it all in school, and people could opt out, and they clean the data. And then they really, the whole idea is understanding what the risk behaviors are so that the community and the schools can focus on helping youth be healthier and have healthier lives and have the things that they need to succeed. So it really helps us determine what kind of programs are needed and what kind of education is needed and other things to address, to understand what's really going on in young people's lives in Wakefield and what we as a community, so I'm in the health department or in the schools, or different partners can do, what parents can do, so, and what peers, people like yourself can do as young leaders in the community to understand what's going on. So why do we measure this stuff? We know that relationships and all these positive things really do have an impact on negative behaviors. If you have a lot of good things in your life, if you have parents that or guardians that are checking in, if you are invested in school, if you're participating in activities, you have all these protective factors, you're a lot less likely to have mental health issues, experience violence, engage in risky behaviors. So that's one thing that we're trying to do. Does anyone have any questions yet? Okay, so this kind of gives you an idea of, we tried to give some breakdown on the population of the school. So this is by gender, over on the left, and sexual orientation. So this is for grades 7 through 12. So, this is one tool that we use to remind teachers and administrators and everyone that we, 79% of students identify right now as straight or heterosexual, and then we have over 20% of students who identify in other ways, and then it's really important when talking to use inclusive language, make sure our schools are inclusive, we have inclusive clubs, things like that. So having this data really does tell the story that we have a lot of different, that not everyone is heterosexual, and sometimes people fall into traps of, or fall into habits of saying that. And then we have our breakdown of race. So you can, I don't know where the stats are on that. So, sorry, I'm not sure where the key is to show what, it's not coming up. But I'm going to send everyone this PowerPoint so you can kind of see. I'm just going to show the first couple of slides in the interest of time, because there are about 50 slides, but this is the impact of the pandemic. So this year in particular, we added pandemic related questions to really understand how the pandemic impacted young people. So you're going to be able to see in this first slide, during the pandemic, have you experienced any of the following? So in the blue is Galvin Middle School, in the orange is the rest of the Middlesex League. So all the teams that you play sports against in the Middlesex League, all their towns did this survey as well. So that's kind of the average. So you can see, for example, feelings of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration during the pandemic. So you can see that almost 60% of Galvin students experienced that. And then that was slightly higher than the rest of the Middlesex League. And then you can see the Wakefield High School is in the gray, and they were 62%, so over 60%. Well, that's a lot of people experiencing some pretty intense feelings. So it's important for our community to understand, for teachers to understand, and for you all to understand what your peers went through over the pandemic. And then you can see changes in appetite is the next question, difficulty concentrating and making decisions. That was high, and then difficulty sleeping or nightmares. So higher for, that one was higher for high schoolers versus middle schoolers, which I found interesting. Does anyone have any questions or comments on this slide? Okay, and then again, some other questions around physical reactions. You can kind of just take a look at this. Worsening of mental health conditions. That's one that we talk about to our educators. So really understanding that, you know, not just you had a tough time going into the pandemic, but it got worse during the pandemic. So that's significant. So we had and Wakefield's pretty much on par with the rest of the Middlesex League on a lot of these points. And then did any of the things happen to you? So this chart is, anyone that takes statistics know this chart is off. So you see it really high, but it's really about 9% of Galvin students and 12%. And we did see at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of layoffs. We saw our food pantry numbers go up. A lot of people were impacted. So, and that affects young people's ability to study or focus in school or when they're worried about a lot of things. And then some other things that people experienced, and you know, a family member or close friend dying, you know, the fact that so many young people lost people. It might not have been COVID related, but just another thing that someone was experiencing on top of the pandemic. And then how often was your mental health not good? So that's something that we asked. So if it was often, so most of the time or always, that's when we said that. So that's over a quarter of Galvin students and over a third of high school students where their mental health was not good most of the time or always during the pandemic. And then we broke down some of the statistics. This is for the high school by race and sexual identity. So, and by female and male. So you can see that the pandemic impacted, it seems like people identified as female at a greater rate. And then if you look at the gender queer stat, then we know that, okay, we even have to do more supports for folks. And then again, this is the middle school stats. So kind of similar to the high school stats. And really taking a look at everything that was going on for young people of color during the pandemic and how that might have impacted, it did impact them at higher rates, and even more so in Wakefield than the rest of the Middlesex League. So that's something that we're considering and taking a look at support systems in our community and our schools. Okay, so I'm going to stop it there, but we, all right. Okay, so anyone have any questions or comments about the survey?
Just wanted to say thank you. I always appreciate those updates. It's good to know. It was really informative.
Does anyone have any ideas on, do you think it's important to get, I mean, you all didn't see the rest of the stats were around mental health, substance use, dating violence, things like that. Does anyone have any ideas on how to get the word out? Or do you think it's important to share the statistics?
I think absolutely it is really important just so people in our community can know, especially, the small businesses downtown, probably even just someone, a neighbor that maybe not have kids in the middle school and high school age range may not know just how much it has impacted all of us. So I think it is really important to give out to the public.
Great, thanks Ellie for that. And that's an interesting point, the small businesses. I hadn't thought about that, but I know you work at one, so it's interesting. I know the results were in the paper. Jenna?
I also think it's important to like show other youth so that like if it's something that they're going through, they know that like they're not alone.
True.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And that actually, that is something the youth action team is working on there. Has anyone seen the floor claims they have at the high school that say you're not alone in the stats? Yeah, Bailey's working on that, and she's hoping to bring that down to the Galvin, and they also have that they use those stats in the warrior 100 warrior faces. That's up in Jenna. Have you seen that up in the 8th grade? The 100 warrior faces, yeah. So using the stats to kind of normalize, especially with mental health, to destigmatize things. And then on the flip side, to show when sometimes you ask high schoolers, how many people do you think are drinking on the weekends? They think, 70-80%, where it's really a lot lower than that, between 15 and 20%. So majority of youth are making healthy decisions. And sometimes it helps to see the other side of it. Any other questions or comments?
Doesn't look like it. Anyways, thank you so much. That was great to know. Very informative, like I said. I guess we'll move on to the next thing on our agenda, which is liaison updates. I know a few people from the last meeting still did not get were able to get reached out from their liaison committee. Did any of that change for anyone, or was anyone able to reach out yet?
I joined the meeting for the Council on Aging, and we talked about snow shoveling programs and delivering newsletters.
That's great. I'm glad to hear.
Juliana, can you speak a little about what the snow shoveling program is?
Sure. I'm sorry, I need to recall a few things.
No worries, take your time.
Oh, I can help you what I think it was that Judy, I think Judy told me what she talked with you about. Was it that she's going to create a list of seniors who want to find youth that live in their neighborhoods that would be willing to shovel their walkways?
Yes, and depending on the locations, people will be assigned to specific houses that they can walk to.
That's so cool. That's great.
So what Juliana will need help publicizing this program, because we're going to need, and it's not going to rely just on youth council members. We're going to need to get youth from all over the community to sign up to be willing to be matched with seniors. Do you think that sounds like a good thing for the youth council to sponsor?
For sure.
Okay, so Juliana, if you want to reach out to Judy to see if she's getting that list together, and then maybe you can have an update at the next meeting, because it's going to start snowing soon, or maybe you and I can touch base. Does that sound good?
Good. I'll email her after the meeting.
Great.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other liaison updates that they would like to share?
I'm the PTO liaison. So I talked to PTO and right before, actually the Wednesday before the cleanup. So they tried to send some kids over there, and they talked briefly about the possibility of doing night spots, which is like a after school event that kids can come to on certain days by grade to do just activities in the class. They're not certain on them, but if I get dates or a sign up genius from them, I'll send it out to you guys and try to get some volunteers.
Well, that's great, Megan.
It is.
Does anyone know what a night spot is? Who can explain? I see Jenna raised, okay, Jenna, go ahead.
Yeah, we have one in like 6th grade, and basically it was just the kids in the grade got to come after school, and they did, it was like right before Halloween, so they had like Halloween crafts, there was like a photo booth, and there's snacks, and the PTO organized it, and it was just like a nice way to get like the kids in the grade together, like not during the school day.
Yeah, I've also volunteered as well as gone to night spots. I volunteered night spots, and it's a great opportunity to volunteer and do stuff. There's lots of jobs. There's music, there's food, there's activities, there's crafts, there's a lot of stuff to put together. There's always need for volunteers.
I love that. That's amazing. Seems so like such a welcoming event. Thank you, Megan, for updating us. Does anyone else want to share any updates that they have? Paige, would you like, I can start?
Yeah, so the health department is holding a vaccine clinic for ages 5 to 11 this Saturday. I believe it's 9 to 4. And the board director, Candace Linehan, just told me to spread the word. If you know anyone who wants to get vaccinated, it's at the Galvin this Saturday.
Perfect. Thank you for letting us know.
Oh, yeah, Paige, thank you for that update, because someone stopped by my office and asked, we'll have a lot of little kids that are kind of a little nervous about getting their shots. So if any youth council members are looking for community service hours or looking to help out this Saturday, we would love your help. We have animal costumes that you can wear. You can manage the coloring table. Tegan, I can see you really want to do that. We'll have lots of opportunities to help the young people. We're trying to make it a fun environment with balloons and coloring and other things. So if anyone is interested in community service hours, please let me know. You can come for 2 hours, or you can come for 4 or 6. Okay.
It's this Saturday, you said?
This Saturday. So it's from 9 to 4. So you could do a morning shift, you could do an afternoon shift. Please text me or call me or email me if you're interested. We really do need some high schoolers to help out with that. And middle schoolers. Mm-hmm. So especially our 7th and 8th graders, because you guys are already vaccinated. So we need students that are already vaccinated.
Right, great. Thank you, Paige. Does anyone else have any liaison updates that they would like to share?
Oh, well, me and Mike Larry for like the safe streets. We went to like the Woodville, and we were lucky enough to talk to Mr. Beebe, who's like the principal right now. He was like really on board with the idea. We gave him some like flyers he can hand out to all the students, and we scheduled a meeting with him because he wants us to go in and then talk to each like classroom individually about like just like safely like, getting to school and back. So we're gonna email him soon. My first response.
All right, that's good. Thank you, Matt.
Matt, did you guys get any of the freebies? Sometimes they have like backpack things to reflectors or stuff for their bike helmets or anything. Did you get anything from the state?
I don't think so. I can ask Mike Leary. He might have got something, but
Okay,
okay.
thank you for doing that.
I just had a meeting for Human Rights Commission. They mainly just were planning out the MLK Day. We'll take a they're just doing the final details for that. Is good. And I also gave a youth council update. They were so happy to hear how successful our cleanup went. And I was very proud to share that. Does anyone have updates? Any other liaison updates before we move on?
Does anyone not have a liaison role? I know Marie doesn't. Is there anyone else that doesn't? Tegan, did we find you a liaison role yet?
Okay, so we decided that I would be with the library committee.
Well, that's right.
With Madeline for the BB. But I'm still not getting, I still don't have any emails or anything. I'm not on the list.
Okay, we'll remedy that. Thanks, Tegan.
Okay, we'll work something out with that, Tegan. Thank you.
And then Marie, we'll have a different, I'll have a conversation with you to show you all the different openings there are and opportunities, and then you can kind of pick from there.
All right, sounds good. Okay, guys. Any other updates before we move on? Doesn't look like it. All right. I believe next is the Communication Outreach Subcommittee update. Ali, I believe you're chair of that. Do you have any updates for us?
Yes, so our last meeting was our first meeting of this term, and I was elected as the chair. And so we touched upon the subject of our social media pages, and we'll be discussing that further at our next meeting. And our early 2021-22 term outreach, we want to really promote the Youth Council through creative Instagram posts, as well as like posters at the middle and high school. And Ellie, who's also on the subcommittee, brought up a potential collaboration between the subcommittee and WCAT to promote the Youth Council's initiatives if we want to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And that's amazing that you had your first meeting. I know we've been talking about this for a while, so this is a great start.
I know WCAT would love to host a show on the Youth Council, so that would be great to set in motion. And then we could have the recording of that show linked on our Facebook page. I mean, not our Facebook, well, our Facebook page, but also our town page.
Right. Anything else to update with the Communication and Outreach Committee subcommittee?
Nothing more.
All right, sounds good. Okay, I think next, is there anything else that we would like to discuss? Oh wait, actually, no, we have to determine the next meeting date. But I believe we've been doing the when to meet. I'll contact Lauren on sending that out. But also last meeting, we did discuss that Tuesday at 7 o'clock seems like a pretty good time. Do we want to try and do this or do that time, or does this time work? Does anyone have any comments on it? If not,
Either works for me. Either one works for me.
Okay.
I think Jenna had a comment.
Yeah, I can't do Tuesdays, but like if it works for everyone else, then that's totally fine. I can join when I'm around.
Okay. We definitely want you here. So we will work something out. I'll talk to Lauren and we'll do a when to meet. See what the best time possible. Hopefully soon we can get in a do like I think last year we did like every like 3 Wednesdays or something. So hopefully we can get into like a rhythm or something like that once we find a good time and day that works for best for everyone. So look forward to that in your emails. We'll be sending that out soon. Then next on our agenda is business not that has not been anticipated. So does anyone have any other comments, questions, or updates that they would like to share? I do not see any. Okay. So I believe it's time to adjourn the meeting. So do I hear a motion to end the meeting?
I motion.
Thank you, Ali. Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second?
I
too?
second.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna call the roll call. Me, yes. Ali,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Nicholas, Larry,
Yes.
Uma,
Yes.
Paige McGimmett,
Yes.
Sophie,
Yes.
Ellie,
Yes.
Jenna, Jenna, do you agree to join the meeting?
You might be having audio problems.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
what
yeah.
says yes? All right, we're good. Did Nicholas ever pop on? I don't believe so.
No, he had a tutoring appointment.
All right. Tegan
Yes.
and Charlotte.
I don't think she's here anymore.
Okay. All right, she had to pop off. All right. The meeting has ended. It's 4:43. Thanks everyone for coming.